Hey guys, John here again. Right, I'm going to do part two of my 90s albums that I mostly played in the 90s. Because I know Mike from Vintage Wine was saying that not many people mention 90s and noughties albums. So some of us like to forget that time. Some of us probably love that time. Quite a depressing time for me. But these albums that I'm going to show, as in my part one video, are stuff that got me through that decade of the 90s. So here we go. Right, first of all, I mentioned this in part one, but I just didn't have it to hand, and it is Great White, Psycho City. Now this has got some awesome tracks on it. This is you've got Maybe Someday, Big Goodbye, Old Rose Motel, Psycho City, Step on You, Love Is a Lie, which is probably my favourite song, one of my favourite songs ever. Yeah, and then this one's the one with the CD reissue, which came out in, it's limited edition as well. The album came out in '92. This is the reissue, came out in '99, and this one's number 1209, limited edition. So this one's got 4 extra tracks on it through Axe Killer. So yeah, awesome album. Next one. This one, no, I'm going to leave that one off. I didn't really like that one that much. Right, 2 Megadeth albums. I've done Megadeth in my part one as well, but these are 2 others from the 90s and towards the end. So we've got Cryptic Writings, which was excellent. I remember looking forward to this coming out and just thought, yeah, can't wait for the next Megadeth album, which is the same with all of them, but this one I can remember as if it was like yesterday. But yeah, this one is pretty cool. Not every song on this is killer, but most of it is. And this is, you know, the next album I'm going to show people are going to go, that's not a good album. But I do like about, I suppose, half of it, and it is Risk. And I love Insomnia. I love Prince of Darkness. That's a cool song. Breadline I did like. The Doctor is Calling is pretty. I love that one as well. I'll Be There and Wanderlust, although I didn't like them at all. Time, I did like the last 2 tracks. 7, I can't remember how that goes. But yeah, Enter the Arena, which went on to, which is the start of Crush 'Em, was just absolutely crap. I hate that song, Crush 'Em. It is pretty shit. So yeah, not really into that. But this one, Trust, Almost Honest, Use the Man, Mastermind, Secret Place, Vortex, Have Cool, Will Travel, just cool songs. Next one, 2 albums by a really cool band, Pantera, Cowboys from Hell, that's from 1990, and their next one they brought out from 92, which is Vulgar Display of Power. Now, I love this one the most. This is awesome as well, but this is my favourite because it's got Cemetery Gates on, and yeah, I just love all of it. It's just crazy ass, that one. This one, yeah, I do love Walk and Fucking Hostile. That's awesome. This Love and Mouth of War. Hollow as well. Some cool shit on there. Next one. I'll go a bit lighter here. Enough's Enough's third album. Animals with Human Intelligence. And this is a reissue cover, this one, from 2008. I've got quite a few of these actually. Standout tracks on this. Right By Your Side. That was the song that got me into Enough's Enough when it came out. And yeah, there's quite a few good songs on there. Trying to think of them. It's been a while since I played this CD, but that got me through a lot of 1993. Right, Europe. Prisoners in Paradise. Really cool album. I loved it when it came out. Then I went away from it. I was like, no, I can't listen to that anymore. It's getting a bit boring. But now I'm getting a bit older, and people always say wiser, but no. This is, you listen to it closer, and the songs are just absolutely amazing. So yeah, really into that. And that's from 1991. And then we've got 2 Alice Cooper next. And Hey Stupid, which is pretty cool, pretty damn cool album from 91. And The Last Temptation, another cool album. This it does sound different to this one. This is you know, this is quite heavy compared to this. So but I love the song It's Me. That's just really cool. Lost in America is as funny as. Love's a Loaded Gun, Snakebite, Burning I Bet. There's loads of tracks on there that are cool. My son was very frightened of that cover. If you had that in a room, he wouldn't go in the room. He shit himself. He didn't like it. So next one's actually is this album. I've had a few of these, and there's a reason why. I don't know if anybody else has had the same problem, and it is Heart. Desire Walks On. If ever you buy this CD, I've had 3 copies, and it doesn't matter how well I look after them. There's an issue with the label that's printed on there. It always bubbles up, and then the CD starts having a crazing on the back, and it's starting to get CD rot, I think it is. But yet my other one, my first one just went like that within a couple of years of owning it. So hopefully, well, one of them's got a bit of CD rot, and the other one's pretty much okay. Another album by Heart, this one, Brigade. Really, I love loads of the songs on there. Same with that. I love all of that album. Black on Black is just amazing, and yeah, really cool. Well, they're all cool, but Back in Black, that is a rockin' song, that one. Right. Oh, some more by Enough's Enough. This one here, Tweaked. This was more sort of grungy. The songs were completely different to the Animals album, and I didn't like it at the start, then I loved it, and even now when I listen to the songs, I love that album. That is a really, I just love the song Mr. Jones and Bullet from a Gun, and It's Too Late there, and We're Alright. There's just, you know, I really do like that, and that came out in can't can't remember, 95, yeah, that's it. This is the English copy. And then this one here, I think this was the next one. It was, yeah. This one completely different to that Tweaked. This is starting to get back to, oh, actually there's a bit of Tweaked on this. And then there's some of, actually no, I wouldn't even say there's, actually, there probably is a few tracks on here that are similar to Animals, mixed between Tweaked and Animals, but that got me through loads of crappy days, weeks, months. Right, here we go. Really good band that I got into when this came out, Paradise Lost. Back in 1995 is when I got into them, and if you've not heard Forever Failure, then you're missing out. This is a reissue, this one. This is got a DVD as well, but my CD, my original, just, it got pretty worn out. And yeah, Forever Failure, loads of cool songs on there. Enchantment, Shadow Kings and stuff like that. Last Time, just fucking, I don't know who else is into Paradise Lost, but I was from 95, so. Oh. And Icon, Paradise Lost, Ember's Fire, Christendom, True Belief, that's awesome. That was another CD I used to listen to a lot around the mid-90s. And then Host, actually there's an album that I used to listen to of theirs called 1 Second, and was it 1 Second? I think so, yeah. And I love that album, but I haven't got it anymore. I don't know why. I don't know what happened to my CD. And then I was into Host. Host is a bit like just Paradise Lost mixed with, blended with Depeche Mode. It's I can listen to that. I love it. A lot of people don't like it, but I actually love that album. Really did love that album. Haven't listened to it a lot, but since, but yeah, 1999 that came out. And what we got here? The comeback album for Bon Jovi, 92, Keep the Faith. That was another big album for me when that came out. And this is the one with Save a Prayer. Some Issues, haven't got that on. I Believe is just killer. Dry County is just killer. There's probably only about one song in here I don't like, and that's A Little Bit of Soul. And that's it. The rest of the album I love. Awesome. One of the best Bon Jovi albums this side of the 80s. So, here we go. I don't know if anybody's heard this band before. Westworld. Now this album I really do like. It's got Tony Harnell from TNT on vocals. It's got Mark Riel. Is it Mark Riel? Yeah. I think he was in Riot. Apparently he's no longer with us, I don't think. I think he died not so long back. But other than that, this came out in 1998, and that was a huge part of my life as well. So if you haven't got that, there's another one. I can't remember what year it came out. I think it was 2000, so I might not show that. Alright. Here we go. Next one. The end of the 90s. Great White. I absolutely love this artwork. I do love this album. Completely different to the 80s stuff. But it's closer to the early 90s stuff. It is really cool. Came out, yeah, 1999, Axe Killer Records. But yeah, brilliant album. Motley Crue, Generation Swine. A lot of people don't like this album. There's an issue with, I find there's an issue with the sound quality. But I actually enjoyed this. When this came out, this was banging out of my car. This was there was some good shit on there that I liked. Except from Brandon. Brandon was shite. Yeah, Brandon, the song Brandon, it was sung by Tommy Lee and it was shit. Right. I'm sure everybody's listened to these two in the 90s. And it is Guns N' Roses, Use Your Illusion 1 and 2. And yeah, played a big part in my life. Not so much when they came out, but a lot of my mates were into it, and then it wasn't until the mid-90s that I started getting into it more. But yeah, really good albums. I love it. My favourite song is The Garden on that one. The Garden is kick-ass, and you got Alice Cooper on that as well, singing on that. It's fucking amazing. Live and Let Die as well, just because I love Paul McCartney and Wings, so yeah, they were really cool. And that one would be You Could Be Mine, and Estranged. I love that song. I don't like the alternative Don't Cry. So Fine, that I love that with Duff. It is awesome. Was it with Duff? I think. Oh, I can't remember now. Right, another one. Poison, Flesh and Blood, from 1990. Yeah, this used to be played a hell of a lot. Me and my mate. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us. But yeah, we used to mess around in our cars, racing around, listen to Poison, not just this album, but all their stuff, and lots of other metal and rock. So fun times. And actually, On Skinny Bop was one of the very first 7-inch singles that I bought when it came out. Right, we've got 2 albums by this cool band, one of my favourite bands as well of all time, or in my top 20, top 10 probably, I think. Warrant. This one, Warrant 96, is so much different to everything they've done. It is quite grungy, and do you know what, right? I actually really like it. I don't know what anybody else thinks of this. It was called Volume 1, Belly to Belly Volume 1, but there was never a Volume 2. I don't think. I've never seen one. 1996. Huge album. I'm not going to say what songs I like on there because I have to open up the CD. Right, this one. This one's pretty cool. And yeah, Chameleon was a song I loved. Stronger Now, that's absolutely amazing. Yeah, there are Undertow as well. Really cool songs on there. High as well. So, rest in peace, Janie. Awesome singer. Miss you, your albums. Right. Right, another 1990. This one. And this was an album I got into probably about the mid-90s, and it was just fucking insane. It was just had so much fun listening to this. This was absolutely mad. Love Hate, Blackout in the Red Room. That is just insanely mad. Yeah, I don't know if I'm into it as like I was back then, but you know, I think the sound quality is not as good as I remember, because it was on cassette I was using when I had this, so, and it was in a shitty stereo in a Mark II Escort. It was fucking crap speakers, but it was fun times. Right, oh, got Bon Jovi here. These Days. This is actually probably one of the last great Bon Jovi albums that I liked. It was different to Keep the Faith. Keep the Faith is better than that. Right. Oh, this is fun. This was a lot of fun when this came out. I've got the first album down there somewhere. This was just, I loved every single song on this, especially Neighbour, the first song, and it is Ugly Kid Joe, America's Least Wanted. Now this reminds me of being, just at school, and then later on when I got it on CD in the car, just being crazy fucking idiots. But yeah, that was, Neighbour was my favourite. But yeah, So Damn Cool, and yeah, and the song so damn cool. I'd recommend anybody to go out and get that, just for the, it's just so amazing. Cool. Queen, Innuendo, absolutely awesome. The Show Must Go On was my favourite when that came out back in 91, and you know, the last one with Freddie while he was still alive, just a sad, very sad time, and rest in peace Freddie. We really miss that guy, and he's singing, so yeah, at least we got the albums to remember him. Right, another album that I got into a bit later than when it came out in 92, and it's Soul Asylum. Somebody to Shove, cool. Black Gold, awesome. Runaway Train, just got fed up with that. Homesick, April Fool, that's amazing. Yeah, I really love that as well. Grave Dancers Union. Right, one hell of a album from that time. This is just, you know, this is by my favourite singer as well, and this is Coverdale Page, and you know, every single song on this album is just awesome. I can play that and I never get bored of it. I could play it over and over and over again. Actually, I did that once, and that's probably why my ex-wife really left me. Not any other reason. So that's going there. Right. There's the other one. Ugly Kid Joe, As Ugly as They Want to Be. Now, it's a very short album, but when you're listening to the Black Sabbath Sweet Leaf on here, Too Bad was my favourite song on there. Madman was the swearing version. Funky Fresh Country Club, that was just insanely mad. And Heavy Metal was probably the quickest song I've ever listened to. 27 seconds. But yeah, that was just I was on my push bike then, and we used to listen to that all the time. That was just, and Whiplash, Lucky Cure, that is just amazing as well. Yeah, Everything About You was just boring by then. It had been played on the radio and TV so much. So, right, amazing, absolutely amazing album. First Queensryche album I ever bought, and this is from 1990, and it is Empire, and that is a killer album. Yeah, I can listen to that as well. Probably Della Brown gets a bit boring, but the rest of it is just, I love it all. And yeah, I played the hell out of that as well. quickly get these done. Right, next one. Got that there? Let's do these 3. Right. My first experience of this, sitting in the back of my parents' car in 1990, bored out my brains with my personal cassette player, and all I had was that album to listen to, and it was on tape cassette, obviously. Crazy World by Scorpions, and it, you know, Wind of Change was at number 1, and that album is just kick ass. I loved it. You know, Keith Olsen produced this with the Scorpions, and he did White Snake stuff as well. But yeah, that is one hell of a killer album. Forget Wind of Change, it gets a bit boring, but the rest of the songs are just guitar driven awesomeness. And yeah, that was an album, you know, sitting in the back of a car, driving along motorways, when, you know, I'm not used to motorways because we don't have any in Guernsey, and it was like miles to get every bloody where. We weren't used to it, and I needed that. And then I got I found On Through the Night by Def Leppard, the first album, and I had yeah, it was On Through the Night I picked up on cassette at some little market or something. It was second hand, and I played that in school in Crazy World. That was cool. It took the boredom out of listening to my parents. So next one, listened to that a lot as well. Came out in '93. Face the Heat. Wasn't as good as Crazy World. Alien Nation was awesome song, intro. Just, you know, there was a lot of songs on here. They were okay, but a few forgetful ones, but it did get me through some bad times. And then this one at the end of the 90s, I picked this one up actually in Poole, in a record shop, while I was in the UK, and yeah, this was completely different. It's quite strange, but then there's some really amazing songs on there as well. They did try. It was like Megadeth's Risk. This album was like a Risk, I think. But then, you know, there's a few lovely songs on there. Don't use lovely very often either. Big album as well. Osmosis, Ozzy Osbourne. Yeah, I loved at least 90% of this album. I think I just got a bit bored. So I think Ghost Behind My Eyes was the 10% one that I didn't really like much. But the rest, great. Prefer No More Tears though. Painkiller! Judas Priest, 1990. Now, I didn't start buying Judas Priest stuff until 94. And I bought the Metalworks CD set. I think it was 94? No, it was 95. And I'd already heard Painkiller when I was at school, and I didn't really like it. I don't know why. Maybe I just wasn't into heavy stuff. And then, you know, listened to it again on Metalworks. I was like, my God, that is fucking awesome. So, yeah, really cool. Must go out and buy that if you're into Priest. Another cool album that I used to play with in one of my other mates' cars. We used to listen to Aerosmith a lot. Let's Get a Grip. It's some fun times listening to that. Yeah, Walk On Down. There was a few hits on there that I got a bit fed up. They played it too much. I think that was Crying and Crazy and Living on the Edge. But yeah, the other songs are pretty cool as well. The Razor's Edge. I remember that when Thunderstruck was in the charts at number 1. But this is really cool. I suppose I like about 75% of this album. The last few tracks are pretty shit. But yeah, you know, Money Talks. It's a bit boring. Thunderstruck's amazing. Razor's Edge is amazing. Are You Ready is awesome. And yeah, Got You by the Balls. And the last one of the 90s that I used to listen to a lot, and it's completely different to what they were used to, and it is Kiss, Carnival of Souls, The Final Sessions. And yeah, I haven't listened to this for a long time, so I really can't tell you which songs I like the most. I can remember it being really sort of heavy and grungy, and from 97 this. And the first song is called Hate, and I really did hate this first of all when I listened to it. Got into it because I was probably in such a bad place that it appealed to me, but I don't think it's much of a happy album, so yeah, I'm going to put it on actually when I finish this video. So keep rocking, and that video is, oh my god, nearly 33 minutes. Right, that was a big pile of CDs though. So that is it. That's all my 90s albums I used to listen to in the 90s. Keep rocking, everyone.